Hey everyone, it's Cleveland here. We've got another 60 Grassy match for you guys. The GOAT versus Zartak. And I'm just going to get right into this one. It features a pretty awesome play, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, we're just going to get it started. So Zartak is going to go for a pretty elementary first turn flash. Pretty simple there. And GOAT's going to teleport in. Let's see, he could go to the side if he wants to, depending on his book. Seems like he has a little bit more of a top-heavy book, so he wants to go to stay up top. And maybe he could have gone... Oh, I hit the F2 button there by accident. Maybe he could have gone like here, but then he has to burn a blast from the past to get out, so it's probably not necessary. Any sort of spot here can be flashed from. This can be flashed off right there. So yeah, I think it's a good play by him. That's one of the safest spots, right? So he goes for this shock shield play, which is a pretty good play, honestly. There's no way to really BFTP the player easily and deflight them. You have to go for something like Zartak's about to go, which I'll zoom out so you can see. Look at that. Woo! Way up high. He doesn't quite get it this time. Blast from the past is really light. I can show you guys exactly how that might work. I'm just guessing, but you have to pretty much aim it like... Oh, let me get the book real quick. Let's see. Alright. Here, and maybe something like this. This might not exactly be what he has, but... Okay. So, if we're going for this knock, or the deflight, what we probably want to do is... I don't know, it's like so little power that you have to put in. You have to like zoom in, okay, and see like how I'm just barely, like maybe a couple ticks. Okay, so what's straight up? This is pretty much straight up. So one, you can't even really keep track of ticks, but you just go like a few pixels over, maybe that. See how far that goes? I was like barely moving the mouse, right? So, okay, that's not gonna work. So you have to be like, maybe like this. Look at that. Look at that arc on that. Just insane. I got it. That's my second try. This is uncut, by the way. Promise, guys, that's my second try. So you see how small that arc has to be? Because it flies. Let me just do a demonstration real quick to show you guys. Look at this. Like, say, I'm not even extending here. Look at that. See how light it is? It's way across the map. And if you do like a extend, oops, if you do an extend, see how far it goes? Like it's going pretty much like all the way across the crystals map, probably, and more. So that's how you aim that. There's no like, recipe, like tried and tested technique, but you really have to put like no power on it. Like 1 pixel, you go all the way up above the head, and then like 1 pixel over. And I'll zoom back in here so you guys can see. So you might be thinking here, okay, he shock shields. Maybe a flash is possible, but the thing is, GOAT would need to burn a VFTP, which, yeah, actually, he could do. And I'm in the mood to test a lot of stuff in this game, so I'm going to do it. Just because, that way, I don't know, you guys can can learn a little bit more about, like, the plays that were missed, and you can also see them, how they were made. So, Zartak goes for this VFTP, and he misses, which I think Shock Shield is a good move after that. And so let me just take control and use the Shock Shield for his turn. Okay, so GOAT could probably just flash him off here, right? I know he's got BFTP to do that. So you just go down here, BFTP out, right? And okay, you're saying, right, well, you can't really touch him. But you don't have to, right? You just kind of do some maneuvering, and then maybe I would do this. Maybe if I want to get a little bit closer, you can. Yeah, you can even do this. Look, this is a perfectly elementary flash. You just go a little bit to the right of him. In fact, you don't actually have to go a little bit to the right of him. You just aim for the center of his player, pretty much at his face. Boom. Flashed off. So Goat missed an opportunity there to flash, and we're not going to watch Zartak's turn again. We'll go to his next turn. Okay, so Goat prots instead. He misses an opportunity to pretty much win the game on the spot. And Zartak goes for the Swarm. Now, what should Zartak have done? Well, maybe he should have just positioned himself a little bit better, and Shock Shield I still think is a good move. Now he BFTPs through the Ice Shield. He extended that one. You want to extend the BFTPs. I won't show this particular one because I've been showing a lot, but and I'll probably show a bit more. But then he goes for this. I did not even think to see that. Look at that. Look at that play. Have you ever seen that stick? Ever before? And I have to jump in to at least try this, because that is just ridiculous. Let me give this a shot. So he BFTPs to get up there. And this means he knows he's thinking of the play from the start. So what you have to do here is basically throw it just soft enough that it like sits on Goat's little cape there. That it just like sits on the right side, like near his foot. But if you throw it too soft, obviously it's just going to not hit him. If you throw it too hard, it's just going to bounce off him. Since you're aiming toward him, you're not aiming for like a lob and a stick on his head. You're literally like aiming the shock bomb directly at him. So you have to have such a precise angle. I don't even know if I can replicate this, and I'm just gonna try. See that? Too hard. And I might just do it like 3 more times. So you can see if it's too hard, then he is going to just fall. But if it's not, it has to be deceptively soft. If it's not, it's just gonna miss him, right? So he does it from there. Maybe that will be better, to just try it from that angle, because my goodness, that is a quite ridiculous lob that he makes here. Okay, can we do that? Alright. So he's literally right under him. This shot has like no angle on it. Yeah, Jesus. I mean, I don't even know. You'd have to get Zartak in here to even attempt something as risky as this. And the thing is, if it doesn't work, like this is one of those home run plays, right? If it doesn't work, he's just screwed. Like he loses. I think the angle's about right. Oh, no. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna stop screwing around with this because I clearly don't have the skill that someone who's played 10,000 plus games on this game has. So, and yes, by the way, he has played over 10,000 rated ahead in the rankings by a mile. So, Goat does a tower, and with the Shock Shields the tower's weak. He goes for the Color Spray, which has been buffed now, so it's a really good spell. It does a lot of damage. In fact, I'll show the tooltip real quick while the game progresses. 60 to 132 damage. Although it doesn't do 132 when you just aim it directly at the player. It has to bounce a bit, so it's not terribly easy to use, but it's not that hard to use either. So, okay, we're going to see if Zartak can capitalize on this insane shock bomb stick. I'm sure you guys have like rarely seen that unless you're a veteran to the game. And he also has this spell, Swapperoo. Pretty cool. What he's able to do is just swap places with the target or move yourself over a short distance. So, he does that, but again, he has another flash opportunity, which I'm going to jump in yet again, which reminds me, let me know if you guys have made it this far in the video. Do you like me to jump in, try these plays, show you guys how the play should have been done if it's a mistake, or how I would have done the play? Let me know if you like jumping in. I know it takes a little bit more time, but maybe it adds a little bit of an Whoa. Okay, so don't get too close to that Pegasus, otherwise you're literally trapped. Look, can I get out? No, now I'm trapped. Wow, that's insane. But let me know if you guys like me jumping in and showing more of these kind of instructional components to the videos. So he has to be careful. Oh, so he chooses to abduct the peg, which I was too quick before jumping in. But instead of doing that, just flash him. You can be pretty far away so you don't mount the peg. Just do some micro movements. Can I go one more tick over? Yeah. And just aim it, extend, This will knock him right here. Maybe that? Maybe this. Boom. Good night. Woo! And he's on the boat, along with John Berzank. So, anyway, he missed another crucial opportunity to get the flash off, and again, probably win the game. Okay, he doesn't have any minions out, but it's a momentum changer if he gets this done. But he doesn't see the flash, so he instead goes for abduction to have the peg escape, which is a good play, because it is free. Also, did you see how wonky the physics were on that abduction? The Pegasus can just, like, if more than half of it is free from land, it can just, like, all of a sudden just walk out of it, fly out super easily. So you saw, like, the Pegasus was inside the tree. This is one thing that I don't buy physics-wise with abduction. It just, like, moves the minions through the land. And you can free Dark Knights, you can free, like, really heavy minions using this spell, and it's only on a 2-turn cooldown. So, like, it's pretty impressive. You do have to, you know, take a spell slot up, obviously, but you have to take a spell slot up for any spell that you bring, so it's like, I don't really see that as a good argument. But he makes a good play to BFTP, go onto the Pegasus, trap him, and then get the Dark Knight out. Now Zartak's in a completely winning position, especially because Goat doesn't have a book that's really... it is good for the side, but it's not, like, completely winnable from the side. Some books you go to the side and you have, like, pixies, or you go to the side and you have aerial spam, or you go to the side and you have, you know, some, like, totem and vampire and, like, some blood frost type of mix, and those are kind of built for the side. Or you go to the side and you have minion book, maybe that works out. I don't know, but his book is just like a shock shield generic, so he doesn't really have one that's best equipped for this, but he can still stack prots, shock shield, get 2 swarms out, because there's a 2 swarm limit, right? So anyway, this kind of shock bomb play that he made, and then of course the missed flash from Goat allows Zartak to get this momentum here, and he's just going to probably long term. Okay, here's one tip for 60 Grassy players: you just come up with a long-term plan, and here Goat's long-term plan is to play for the draw, and then at a certain point, if he does get a better advantage, he can decide to play for a win. But right now with the Dark Knight out up top, he's just trying to stall. So his plan is to get swarms out, get a Pegasus out, block that side, build protection shields, maybe flash in if space becomes an issue, or if he gets treed, and just keep shock shield up for pressure if Zartak is going to try to advance on him, right? And he doesn't want Zartak to advance. So, he is going to make, and for Zartak's plan, which I didn't mention yet, I don't think, he's going to make an Undead Pegasus. He's going to flash open that land, or some other way to open that land, whatever he kind of has in his book. He chooses to use the DK drain, then he can have the DK come out and then swarm tick. It also gives Goat an opportunity to swarm tick, so maybe not the best play there, but maybe it would be better to free his Pegasus first, flash out that land at the top. But this is still a fine play, because now he can get his swarm through. He's saying, well, one swarm's not... I mean, I've got 4 minions out and I'm at 210. One swarm tick isn't going to really hurt me that much. I've also got shock shield, so if he runs out of time, leaves it out up top, then I'm still fine. I can kill it. So here he's going to take the Pegasus, I think, and then come back up. Now it's at 60. So that's 40 damage a turn between the swarm and his shock shield that he can do to the Pegasus, which is a lot. And he can also get the storm shield on the spirit up. And that's what he's going to choose to do. So why doesn't he go on the Pegasus to do this shock shield? Well, probably because Goat could D-flight, D-tower, flight up, and kill the storm spirit, because the Pegasus will have absorbed the shock shield. So he's using it as a way to prevent his opponent from getting back up top, which is sometimes what you have to do. Sometimes you don't go for the damage, and instead you go for the play that controls the movement of the opposing player, right? And that's a lot of what 60G can be about, just controlling the movement and zoning your opponent into a specific area, preventing them from being able to roam freely. So, Here, as I said, Goat's going to be stacking prots, and Zartak is probably going to want to get his Dark Knight down at some point. I would recommend flashing out this land somehow so that he can free his top Pegasus. He doesn't have Pebbles, which makes it a bit trickier, but basically he's just playing around with the cooldowns. He wants to be able to have his Shock Shield up, maybe a Prod up before he makes waves and makes progress. So that's why, like, some of you are probably thinking, what the fuck, why does he not just, like, you know, Pebble down and, you know, fuck Goat up? Like, what's the problem? Well, the thing is, like, now Goat has a couple swarms, he's got a Pegasus, and also, even if he didn't have his minions, if you just Pebble down and he doesn't have a Prot, he can just be knocked again. So, only in a few particular situations can you just, you know, brainlessly sort of Pebble down with no Prot and still be okay. If you have no minions out, that's going to be an unlikely play for you. You're going to have to do a little bit more setup before you approach. Now, Pebbles does make it a lot easier, right? But still, it's not always the best play to just Pebble down. Okay, so Goat is doing a good thing. Control the Pegasus movement, and also trap that Spirit. But Zartak makes a great play, swapping himself with the Pegasus, freeing the Pegasus, and also he can always gate back up if things get a bit dicey. He's got a Prod up, he just casted his Shock Shield, so everything is fresh cooldown-wise, and now he's made progress. This is a great use of a spell that you don't really see used in 60 Grassy that often, mainly because it's newer, and also it was recently changed to level 1, so when it was level 2 it really wasn't seen, pretty much ever. But now that it's level 1, it's used a lot more, and Color Spray was buffed. Color Spray is now a level 2 Swapperoo, and so you see Color Spray being used more too. So there, the Shock Shield was used on the Pegasus, or not used, but he hit the Pegasus with the shield. Why did it do 10 damage only? It's because that tree was alive right here. This tree was alive, and it had 10 health left, so it absorbed 10 of the 25 Shock Shield health, and then after that, he hit the Pegasus. Or I guess I can't do math. I don't know if... I think the Pegasus went to 15. So the tree absorbed 15 of the Shock Shield health. And then 10 of it was left to get the Pegasus from 25 to 15. There we go. So... Goat's plan is still to, you just gotta keep your Shock Shield up when you have Shock Shield books. It may look a little bit weird again. Why doesn't he just go aggro? Well, of course Goat's down, but some of you might be thinking like it's a lot more strategic and kind of slow than some of your games, especially if you don't play 60G. But when you take Shock Shield, you really want to have it up. What's the point of going aggro with no Shock Shield if, you know, you basically, like... you don't use it, then it's just a dead slot. So does he Q here? I think he might have Q'd, which is really tragic. But we'll see if Goat's able to capitalize. I don't know why he Q'd, but maybe he just got a little stuck. Sometimes you get in those moments where you're stumped. Now, you know, what would I have done in this situation? Probably gated up to the right side. So he hops on the Pegasus here, and Zartak goes for the Shock Bomb, and boom, sinks him. So I guess pros queued too. They ended with 2 Qs? Is that really how this ends? Gosh, what an interesting game. I don't know why. So I guess lesson goes, don't queue, folks. Like, Jesus. But I don't know if I'm getting this right. Did they actually end with 2 Qs? I was thinking, oh, this game has to be shown because of the Shock Bomb stick. Or does he prot the Pegasus here? Because whether he prots the Pegasus or not, like say he gets it off, let me just fast forward to see. Does he actually get it off? 20 and 10? No, he doesn't. So they both Q to end the game. And it's just a it's just a blunderfest, I guess. But to be fair, let's say he gets a prod off. He was probably trying to get back down, doing a little bit too much in a turn. That's another thing you gotta do. But he could still get the shock bomb off and it would sink. So even if he gets the prod off there, it still kind of ends up in the same situation. So it's funny, they actually end up with a couple of unfortunate Qs. And I'm going to show you guys real fast a play that he could make. So the immediate win here is to win, you just bring the Dark Knight over, charge. That's a win, that'll do 135. And in fact, I could show it to you guys, but I won't because it's too much time. We're just going to trust me on that is a win, or if it's even not, he's at like 5 health, he's done. It's over. So, but another play he could make. Unfortunately, he doesn't have this on cooldown, so he can actually make this play, but I just wanted to point it out. So I guess it's not another play he could make. But he can swap himself with the player, and if you have a player that's not flighted, an opponent, and you get this swap off, and it has to be like in the center of the player, and I guess this is close enough to the center, that if he swaps himself, boom, goat sinks. And then he has to teleport in again. And where are you going to teleport in? I mean, the Dark Knight can get to everywhere. Zartak can get to everywhere down here. The game is over, ladies and gentlemen. And he teleports in at what? Okay, I don't know why. Okay, he had Gate again, just because of how the spellbook works. But he wouldn't have Gate, he'd be down to like, I don't know, 70 something health. So, anyway, that's how he could kind of end the game in style. But unfortunately, Swapperoo has a 5-turn cooldown, so he's unable to make that play, so it has one more turn of cooldown on it. So instead, he is going to, hopefully, bring the DK over. I don't actually know what he ends up doing, but he does end the game on this turn. Okay, he tries to get the swarm down, and by some miracle it actually fits. It doesn't look like it fits in there, but it does. So we'll see if this does 120. Who knows, maybe it doesn't do 135, and he has to do that in order for the win, to secure the win. But anyway, guys, actually ended up being a pretty back and forth kind of wild game. There was a couple Qs, 60G is not all about perfect play, but a couple missed flashes by Goat, and I would say though overall Zartak played a pretty solid game, but just needs to be a little bit more careful with his positioning, because if you have someone who's looking for those flashes, like my friend Slim Bill or Cornflake, same person, or if you're playing a game against Co-Eval, then you gotta be careful with that positioning, because I'm going for those flashes. But that being said, some really cool play shown with the color spray, Swapperoo, and of course that insane shock bomb stick. Like and subscribe, comment if you enjoyed that stick, and let me know what types of videos or games you guys would like to see in the future. Always like to hear your suggestions, and have a great day. Peace out.